Here's a paradox that appears across multiple wisdom traditions. The more spiritually evolved you become, the less you use your free will. And here's another one that might challenge everything you think you know about personal growth. Both good karma and bad karma trap you in the same cycle of reincarnation. These aren't philosophical riddles designed to confuse you. These are practical insights from various esoteric schools that completely reframe how we understand relationships, personal growth, and life purpose. But here's where it gets really interesting. Different wisdom traditions teach the same principles in radically different ways. Some schools claim it takes exactly 777 lifetimes to fully evolve. Others insist you can achieve complete liberation in a single moment of awakening. Some traditions say karma is educational and necessary for growth. Others teach that any karma whatsoever keeps you trapped in cycles of suffering. If you're someone who questions conventional approaches to spirituality and personal development, stay with us as we explore these contradictions. And consider subscribing if you enjoy investigations that challenge both New Age thinking and traditional religious doctrine. Today we're examining 3 universal laws that appear across multiple initiatic traditions, but are interpreted in completely opposite ways. We'll explore where these schools agree, where they fundamentally contradict each other, and what these differences might reveal about the nature of consciousness and spiritual evolution. We're not asking you to believe any particular teaching. We're investigating how different maps of the same territory can lead to such different conclusions about human potential and cosmic purpose. Let's start with the concept that most people think they understand, but various wisdom schools interpret in completely opposite ways. Dharma represents universal law, cosmic order, the way things are supposed to function at the deepest level of reality. Karma represents deviations from that perfect order, the consequences that arise when consciousness acts against the natural flow of existence. But here's where different traditions part ways dramatically. Some schools teach what we might call the trap theory of karma. According to this perspective, any karma, whether positive or negative, keeps you bound to cycles of reincarnation. Good deeds create what these teachings call golden chains that are still chains nonetheless. Only perfect neutrality, complete non-attachment to outcomes, leads to liberation from the wheel of rebirth. Other traditions embrace what we could call the evolution theory of karma. These schools see karmic consequences as educational experiences designed to expand consciousness over time. They teach that the universe gives multiple chances to learn the same essential lessons, sometimes across thousands of lifetimes. One teacher from this perspective suggests that karmic debts can span 40,000 years or more. The cosmic ledger keeps track of every intention and action across multiple incarnations. Some wisdom schools go even further and specify exact numbers. 777 incarnations per evolutionary cycle, with each lifetime offering opportunities to balance previous actions. These traditions describe cosmic record keepers who track karmic debts and credits at an atomic level, ensuring perfect justice across vast spans of time. The paradox becomes even more complex when we consider recent teachings. Some contemporary spiritual teachers suggest that traditional karmic laws have been suspended or transformed, that we're living in a time when consciousness can transcend cause and effect through pure intention or divine intervention. So which perspective holds the key to understanding your life circumstances? Are your current challenges educational opportunities designed to accelerate your growth, or are they traps that keep you spinning in cycles of suffering? The answer might depend on which lens you choose to examine your experience through. Now let's examine how different wisdom schools approach the mechanics of consciousness surviving physical death and choosing new life circumstances. Multiple traditions agree on one fascinating point. Souls actively choose their life circumstances, including their parents, their challenges, and their opportunities for growth. But they disagree dramatically on the timeline and process of these choices. Some traditions teach that this pre-birth planning occurs approximately 20 years before conception, with consciousness carefully selecting the optimal parents. Other schools describe elaborate planning sessions between lifetimes, where souls work with guides and other consciousness to design experiences. This leads to one of the most challenging concepts in comparative spirituality: Every person gets the relationships they need, not the ones they want. This isn't about settling for less or accepting difficult circumstances passively. According to these teachings, your challenging family members, difficult romantic partners, triggering colleagues, and problematic friendships are not accidents. They are precisely calibrated contracts designed to activate your specific growth requirements. Your difficult parent isn't there to make you happy. They're there to trigger exactly the wounds that need healing or the strength that needs developing. That romantic partner who pushes all your buttons isn't your soulmate in the conventional sense. They're your growth catalyst, designed to mirror back the parts of yourself that require attention and integration. But different schools disagree completely on how many lifetimes this process requires. Some traditions insist on gradual evolution through hundreds or thousands of incarnations, each lifetime building slowly on the lessons. These schools emphasize patience, long-term development, and the necessity of multiple chances to integrate complex spiritual lessons. Other traditions focus on the possibility of sudden awakening and complete liberation within a single lifetime. These schools point to masters throughout history who achieved total enlightenment without requiring multiple reincarnations. They suggest that under the right conditions, consciousness can transcend all karmic patterns and evolutionary requirements in a moment. The implications of these different timelines are profound. If gradual evolution is correct, then patience and long-term thinking become essential spiritual qualities. If sudden awakening is possible, then intensive practice and complete surrender might be more important than gradual development. The question becomes whether you're here for one more step in a long journey or for a potential quantum leap in consciousness. This brings us to perhaps the most fascinating area where wisdom traditions both agree and contradict each other: the nature and proper use of free will in spiritual development. Various schools converge on one remarkable claim: human beings possess a unique form of free will that exists nowhere else in the cosmic hierarchy. According to these teachings, angels, devas, nature spirits, and other non-human intelligences operate through what some traditions call instantaneity. They respond to cosmic forces and divine will without the capacity for planning, doubt, or resistance. This characterizes human consciousness, which is fundamentally different from theirs. They cannot create futures through imagination or choice in the way that humans can. This makes human beings simultaneously the most limited and most powerful entities in creation. Limited because we're bound to physical bodies and emotional reactions that other beings transcend. Powerful because we can choose to act against cosmic forces, divine will, and even our own evolutionary best interests. We're essentially control panel buttons in the cosmic machine. When we move, the entire universe adjusts to accommodate our choices. But here's where the paradox deepens according to multiple wisdom schools. The proper use of this unique free will changes dramatically as consciousness evolves. Beginning seekers tend to use free will impulsively, making decisions based on immediate desires. Intermediate practitioners learn to use free will strategically, making choices aligned with their understanding. Advanced practitioners, however, use free will less and less frequently. They develop what various traditions call surrender, flow, or non-action. Instead of constantly choosing and controlling, they learn to align with cosmic forces. They allow universal intelligence to work through them. The ultimate paradox is that masters who possess the greatest capacity for choice often choose not to choose. They prefer to let existence move through them without resistance. This raises profound questions about the relationship between personal will and spiritual development. Are we here to strengthen our capacity for choice or to learn when not to choose? Do we evolve by taking more control over our lives, soar by surrendering control to something larger? Different wisdom schools answer these questions in opposite ways. Some emphasize developing the will as a spiritual muscle that must be strengthened through discipline. Others focus on dissolving the will through practices designed to eliminate the sense of individual doership. The first approach suggests that free will is the tool of spiritual evolution. These Kun suggests that free will is the obstacle to spiritual realization. After examining these three universal laws across multiple wisdom traditions, several fascinating patterns emerge. Different schools converge on certain fundamental insights, while diverging dramatically on practical details and timelines. Let's examine what this reveals about the nature of spiritual knowledge and human potential. Areas where most traditions agree include the survival of consciousness beyond physical death, the importance of intention and action. These areas shape experience, the interconnected nature of all existence, and the current historical moment as a time. This time is characterized by accelerated spiritual evolution, suggesting that certain insights about reality transcend cultural differences. But the divergences are equally revealing. As some schools emphasize gradual evolution over multiple lifetimes, others focus on immediate transformation within single incarnations. Teaching karma's educational necessity or as an obstacle. Some emphasize developing individual will, while others focus on surrendering personal choice to cosmic forces. These contradictions might reveal different facets of truths too complex for any single teaching system to contain. Consider the possibility that both gradual and sudden approaches to spiritual development are valid, depending on consciousness. Perhaps karma functions as education for some beings and as limitation for others ready to transcend cause and effect. The question becomes not which tradition holds the complete truth, but which perspective serves your evolution most effectively. If these schools agree on anything, it's that consciousness chooses its experiences for specific developmental purposes. You chose to be here, in this lifetime, during this historical moment, to work with particular aspects of existence. What does this investigation reveal about your current circumstances and relationships? Are your challenges educational opportunities designed to accelerate growth, or are they patterns to be transcended? Are you here for gradual development over time, or are you positioned for sudden shifts in awareness? We don't promise answers because the deepest spiritual questions might not have single correct responses. We promise better questions that honor both the mystery of existence and your capacity to participate consciously. What questions does this comparative investigation raise for you about the nature of choice, consequence, and conscious development? Let us know in the comments which perspectives resonate most strongly with your experience. Which contradictions challenge your current understanding of spiritual teachings and their implications? If you're drawn to investigations that explore multiple wisdom traditions, consider subscribing for more explorations. Remember, every spiritual teaching is a map, not the territory itself. As the territory of consciousness remains vast, better maps can help us navigate more consciously and ask more useful questions about where we're going. This is One Paradox Collective, where we explore the spaces between certainty and discovery.